Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 119. Today we are talking about Celebration Chicago 2019 with our good friend Carla G. Welcome to the show, Carla.
Hello.
And joining me today, as always, Miss Heather Allred.
Hey, everybody.
And Mr. Todd Hoffman.
Celebration!
Well, everybody, we made it. Welcome to the after party. And Celebration, it came, it went, it happened. We've got lots to talk about. But first, we need to pay some bills. So let's head on over to our Audible plug. You can check us out on social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes over at podcast.wstrmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at find us on youtube.com, search for WSTR Media. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WSTR. They've got over 425,000 titles to choose from for everywhere that you listen. iPhone, Android, Kindle, MP3 player, Echo Dot, whatever you fancy.
Whatever you fancy.
You can get whatever audiobook you want. And included in your membership every month, you get your choice of a conventional audiobook, and any length, any price, whatever, it's yours. But you also get your choice of 2 Audible originals. That's content made originally for Audible. And they have a rotation every month. You get to pick 2 of them.
2?
2, I know. So you get 3 free long-form content audio things every month. And you get your first month on us for free. You just head on over to audibletrial.com/WSTR, pick up your free audiobook and 2 free Audible originals today. You can cancel at any time and keep whatever you've redeemed for life. For life. That's a pretty good deal as far as I'm concerned.
It's a long
That's
time.
right.
Forever.
Yeah.
It is a long time.
You know those life debts.
And I know. Life debt is not an easy thing to live with.
Mm-mm.
But Audible's taking the bullet for you. We're also brought to you by our merch store over at store.wstrmedia.com, serviced by the fine folks over at Teespring. We've got you covered head to toe. We've got hats now. We've got hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops. We've got leggings, we've got socks, we've got mugs, stickers, whatever you want. You can rep our show wherever you go from head to toe. Heather, let's get a little teaser about that news.
It's my favorite part is to tease everybody. So I have one, living on the edge.
Ooh.
So don't fall off. And then I want to make sure everybody hears me correctly, because I think you're all going to think I'm going to say this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
R2-42.
Yeah, I think you got that one wrong. You got a little,
I got
a little stutter in your throat.
You know it's R2-D2.
I know. But I'm here to inform you about all droid-related things. So,
okay.
R2-42 for the win.
Thank you, Heather. Todd, let's head right into our Twitter trash compactor.
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell! Get in there, don't worry about it!
All right. Every week we run a poll on the old Twitter. So this week was, what panel was your favorite from Celebration? Write-ins welcomed. All right. So we only have 4 choices. Episode 9. Galaxy's Edge, Mandalorian, Phantom Menace 20th anniversary. So Heather, what would
Yes.
be your favorite panel?
So I voted for episode 9.
Oh boy. Yeah, it was a hoot.
Because it was great. I met a new
was.
droid
That's a duck.
that looks like a duck.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so great.
Mhm.
I love him.
Oh man. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil later on in the show. There was just too many good things about it
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
for my liking.
Yeah. All right, Aaron.
All right, so I was only at the episode 9 panel, so that kind of wins by default.
Yeah.
I watched the live stream of the Mandalorian panel later.
Right.
Pretty darn good. I am
Uh-huh.
well pleased and excited for the Mandalorian once it comes out. But yeah, episode 9 is the clear winner for reasons I'll get into later.
Okay.
But,
You're
yeah.
teasing too. All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So you could play that game.
That's right. That's right. All right, Carla.
Gotta be
What say you?
episode 9.
Episode 9. Okay.
Hands
okay.
down.
Hands down.
Yeah.
All right.
Looks like a pretty clear consensus.
Well, I'm
Todd.
bucking the ship. Mandalorian was amazing.
Ooh.
It was amazing. In person, I got to see that in person, and episode 9, obviously the trailer was amazing, but there was a lot of fluff at the whole panel, and we were all
True,
kind of waiting
true.
for it to happen. But it was still sweet. I really did enjoy it. But the Mandalorian, they jumped in right away and started like dropping images and talking about footage, and got to see miniatures. And then the real cool thing is that like they cut the live stream and like, hey, this is only for you guys. And so I was there. It was amazing, and I really liked it.
Nice.
I felt special. We did have a couple write-ins. Some said Doug Chang. If you're not familiar with him,
Ah.
he is like the grand master of the prequels, and he kind of did like almost like a master's course on design and all that stuff, and everyone really liked it.
Oh, cool.
And so he kind of designed pretty much in the prequels, and now he's very influential in The Mandalorian and all this stuff. He's all over the place.
He was staying in our
Also-
hotel.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Mike, he went downstairs for breakfast one morning, and
Uh-huh.
he was like sitting right next to him, and he was like, "Are you Doug Chang?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah,
But
dude.
he was with his family and everything, so
Oh,
he
right,
was like,
right,
"Yeah, I'm
right.
not gonna bother you," but
Yeah.
he's just like thanking him for all his work and everything. So it was pretty
You-
cool.
You should try
Yeah.
the Frosted Flakes. They're great.
We had a celebrity encounter of our own. When I was waiting for Todd and Heather to show up on day 2, before the episode 9 panel, me and my brother saw Warwick Davis on a custom built Segway just scooting down the street.
What? That's
And
so cool.
yeah, and he went down the sidewalk out to the secret entrance for all the VIPs. So but yeah, he went by and I'm like, is that Warwick Davis? I think that was Warwick Davis.
That's awesome.
Where it is. And while I was waiting for you, Yahoos, for coming out of the panel for episode 9, I met Matthew Wood, who is the lead sound designer for everything for the prequels, and he's like Ben Burtt's protege. And
Why
so
didn't you introduce me?
dude, you were stuck in the wind trust.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
man.
me and my friend Bobby were waiting at the corner, and he popped out the side door, and I'm like, dude, are you Matthew Wood? He's like, yes, I am. I'm like, you're awesome. Shook his hand. And then my friend Bobby's like, who was that? I'm like, because I'm a nerd, I know that's Matthew Wood, and he's just the big sound designer. He's like, dude, that was awesome. Why didn't you take a picture? I'm like, he was running around. I don't know. So
Yeah. He has somewhere to be.
yeah, exactly. So
He doesn't need to
Twitter-
waste his time with peons like us.
That's right. Right. Exactly. The riffraff. No, he was super sweet, but I was like, cool, man. You're cool. He did the battle droids and General Grievous, the whole thing. So episode 9 won the poll. I'm back to the poll. Sorry. That was like, we're tangenting.
I derailed it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. No.
That's where the treasure lies.
That's where the treasure lies. So episode 9 won, and like I said, Doug Chang and Clone Wars were some write-ins, and a lot of other things that people were saying on Twitter was like it was hard if you're not there, like because again, like in Mandalorian, they cut the live stream and kind of hard to see, and that's the other thing. If you were on the show floor too, they were just using the live stream, so you didn't get to see all the tasty treats that were in the Wintrust. So that was also kind of difficult. So okay, spicy tweets, Aaron's request. We kind of keep it spicy here.
Yep. Tomorrow, as of the time of this recording, tomorrow marks 40 days without social media.
Oh wow!
Wow.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is.
But I'm keeping it spicy for you. So the prophecy of Rise of the Skywalker. Okay. When it was announced, obviously, last Friday, the Rise of Skywalker fans went straight to Twitter to find out if anyone guessed the title. And that led everyone to this tweet from November 2012. Just weeks after news that the new movies and Disney would be taking possession of the franchise, Gabby G41, Gabrielle Garcia said, Star Wars Episode 7, The Rise of Skywalker, The Emperor Lives.
That's some Nostradamus nonsense right there.
That's pretty much on point. What's even weirder about this is that Gabby, what's astonishing is even just they guessed the title. They also predicted, obviously, the idea that the Emperor should be somehow living. But here's the mystery. She has since left Twitter and have not posted more than 6 years. So we may never know the answer.
She knew too much.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, who got a hold of her? And
Lucasfilm took her out.
Yeah. Maybe she got set up with a retirement plan on Octo.
Yeah.
Just got exiled.
Yeah, got to study the ancient Jedi texts, So, but that's pretty on point. I mean, not only do you get the title, but then you also kind of say, well, the Emperor's still here. So, yeah. So that's a spicy tweet for you of the week. So everyone's like, oh, I guess the title. No, this girl Gabby did 6 years ago. Yeah. So pretty awesome. All right. So shall we move on to our main topic?
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, if you were living on a rock or you were off social media like Aaron or anything like that, Celebration was April 11th through the 15th. It's in Chicago at McCormick Place, and currently we're all suffering from withdrawals. So
need a hit.
So hopefully we can help you out and keep the fix going for a little bit tonight. But we have our good friend Carla back. Hello, Carla.
Hey.
So if you're not familiar, Carla was with us way back in episode 96. It was so like last year, But why don't you, Carla, just briefly reintroduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. So, hi everyone. Carla here. Carla G, as you guys
Carla
always
G.
say. Carla G.
Yeah.
I am from.
That's your street name.
Yeah.
I am from New Jersey.
Jersey.
Like Todd said, I was here on episode 96. I'm a member of the 501st Legion and Rebel Legions. I have a few costumes with them. Been a lover of Star Wars since I was a little kid, and it's just been a big part of my life. So, yeah. And Celebration was amazing. And I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. I'm so excited.
Right. So, you were busy like prepping for Celebration. So why don't you kind of walk us through your preparations for Celebration?
So I had a goal in mind, costume-wise.
Okay.
So I was trying to finish multiple costumes in time for the convention.
Okay.
And I pretty much finished 2 of them, I would say. Not completely, maybe like 99% finished. So I had my slave Leia and then my resistance Rey. And then I had also too my Jin, but she's like nowhere near being finished. So kind of like towards maybe like, I don't know, a few weeks before I was like, yeah, this is not going to happen. So I figured, let me just save her for a later time. You know, I'll take the time to get it done, you know, so then I could submit it for Rebel Legion approval. But since it's a convention and, you know, if I'm not trooping in it, so to say, I can still wear it to the con. So I was like, let me just, you know, get it done for the most part, and then I can worry about the fixes and submit it later. So it was a lot of sewing and just getting things ready. And I mean, literally up until I think like Tuesday night, I was like sewing my Resistance Rey pants. I was like, I gotta get them done. I can't go to sleep.
Oh, no.
So it was a little ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the celebration deadline is Darth Vader coming down the hallway. All the rebel troops like, launch it.
And I'm on like
costumes done.
I'm on the costume boards like, help me.
Yeah, just pressing that button.
So what were you able to bring to celebration?
So I brought my classic A New Hope Leia, the white dress. Yeah. Both of my Reys, so the Resistance Rey and the Jakku Rey. And my slave
and
Leia.
what's the difference between Resistance Rey and Jakku Rey?
So Jakku is the one you see her in episode 7 for you know, the majority of the film. And then the Resistance Rey is at the very end with the gray vest. And the like the knee pad pants, all that fun stuff.
The capris.
Yeah. Those knee pads are just, they're awful. They're hell.
Oh no.
Those knee pads, they get you every time.
Oh man.
So you're able to bring that. So awesome. So you trooped almost every day, right? On celebration?
I did Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Nice. And how was that experience for you?
It was kind of different, I guess, from what we're used to doing. Like back home, you know, you do the smaller events like the libraries, or even like, you know, of course, like the hospital troops are different.
Right.
But even just like conventions back home, I guess because it's on a smaller scale, I guess just the interaction is a little bit different. And also, too, I mean, that was a huge setup. So the way it was organized and the fact that, you know, you had a handler there, that was helpful. But it was cool, like just getting to, you know, see all the different fans and people that are there. And it's a lot of fun. And it's always exciting when you're, you know, in whatever setting, or like I was in the detention block and like people didn't see me right away. But then when they walked past and they like looked at, they're like, oh, it's Princess Leia in there. So, you know, to see people react and, you know, smile about it, it's always a good time.
They didn't see you there because you're kind of short. That's the problem.
Short, petite.
Yeah.
Now, Carla, you also got to be with your fiance in costume, yes?
Yes. Yeah, so we like coordinated. We were like, all right, we got to make sure that we sign up together. So we're there at the same time.
Sweet. Because he does Kylo when you did Rey. And then did he Stormtroop when you did Leia?
Yes.
He was TK'ing.
Yep.
He was
okay,
TK'ing.
he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which he finished too this year, right?
Yeah, he got that done just in time too. Yeah. We were both like a bunch of maniacs, just like, we gotta get it done every weekend.
I can't imagine what your house looked like.
It's
It's like a workshop that had a bomb go off.
He's got like glued fingers and she's got bloody fingers. Like, I can't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, his Kylo Ren is on point. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. And his TK was really good too. So both very impressive.
The voice modulator makes all the difference with that Kylo.
Yes.
It really does.
Yeah. And he was spouting out the lines like verbatim, which makes it even more realistic, I guess. I don't know. It just looks, it totally in character. So
He's funny. He'll just randomly walk around, and all of a sudden he'll just spew out these Kylo lines. I'm like, okay. All right.
He's like, I'm practicing for next week.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. So you got to do the backdrop was Act 2 for that one, which was cool. And then, like you said, you're in the detention block. So that was awesome. And I mean, come on, we got to meet you finally.
I know.
Which is fantastic.
Aaron, I missed you though on Friday.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
He was still, there's a cool thing about having the convention right there, but then we still have to do adulting stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother had a train to catch, and I had to be somewhere, and
Next time.
Next time.
Right.
So you got further. Sorry, Todd. I just cut you off. I didn't make costumes, but I made my 2 pieces to wear, and I got the skirt all the way done except for a hook and eye closure. So I totally safety pinned it the entire day.
That's the spirit.
When in doubt, pin
it. Right, exactly. There was no duct tape though, so
I loved those pieces that you made. They looked awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I love the patterns on them.
Yeah. I was like, get some good fabric, good Star Wars fabric, and you're good to go. So, anyway.
And she also super glued an AT-AT to her headband. So
I did.
So
That's
awesome.
So what are you gonna do?
I mean, it's part of costuming. That's what you got to do. You know?
Exactly right. Exactly.
All right. So, besides trooping, what was one of your favorite moments at Celebration, Carla?
Ooh, that's tough. I guess just, I don't know, just being with everybody. It's someone else said this. We went out with a couple of guys from the Icelandic outpost. And we were talking, and he was like, you know what? It's like coming home. It's it's a big family. And I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. So I guess just getting to hang out with everyone, meeting new people, and catching up with people, that you haven't seen in a while, other Legion members, if you're a part of it. But I guess if I had to pinpoint one thing, I guess it would be the episode 9 trailer moment. It was just such a I don't know. I can't even put it into words. Because I was actually in my hotel room when it was live streaming, because I was feeling a little.
You had too many R2-D2s.
Exactly. From the dash. So I was laying in bed. I'm like, all right, I gotta be up in a while to go troop. But I was like, I have to be ready to watch this live stream. And I shot up out of the bed. I was like, let's go, let's do this. But Mike was with me, and we were watching it together. And that last part, I my eyes popped out. I was I looked at him. I just screamed. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Definitely the best part of all of it, because we've been waiting so long.
No footage,
and it didn't disappoint at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right, Heather, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, Carla, you're absolutely right. We've waited so long for something about episode 9, so it was really hard to not have that be kind of a highlight. And, with freaking out about just being in Wintrust, and then freaking out when Stephen Colbert shows up, and then, freaking out, as JJ, comes out, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening.
This is for real.
For real. So, I mean, obviously that was high, but one of my really favorite parts was there were these 5 or 6 women who put together Queen Amidala outfits, and they were mind-blowing. And they were super chill and cool about like getting together and letting like half a dozen people every 5 minutes like asking for photos.
Right.
I know one of them.
Nice.
She was in the parade gown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her. She's from I think she's from the New England Garrison or Alderaan base. Yeah, I've seen her like at troops and like a couple of cons that we've done up there. But yeah, that the Padme costumes, they like blow my mind because there's just so much detail to them, and you're like, when you see it in person, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, and then they had all the handmaidens, you know, too, and you're just, the cosplay was by far
my
favorite part.
Yeah.
I mean, just the creativity. I mean, I remember a coworker, you post pictures on the social medias because you want other people to enjoy this with you. And one of them was like, so they like probably were like the professional actors, or they were like hired on. And I'm like, oh, no. These are like fans. This is like Tommy, who works, you know, at the hot dog stand, and like Jill, who's a banker. Like, this is what like.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part, I think. Well, and then I got to scratch BB-8's belly, and that was pretty cool.
That was.
I had a full-on Poe moment.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. So awesome.
That's what I have.
That's what you have? All right, Aaron, how about you?
All right, I'm gonna get up on my soapbox.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Celebration was like a weird out-of-body experience for me.
Okay.
In that I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Star Wars and other fandoms like it, they have all the trappings of religion, but without like the social or moral fabric.
Okay.
And I realized this once I went past this one booth that was like an auction house, and they had a bunch of artifacts from the production of some of the original trilogy movies, like like here's a lock of hair from the Chewbacca suit, and here's a both stunt and hero lightsaber hilts from Luke's lightsaber in the movie, and here are a bunch of storyboards, and here's a swatch from the Jabba sail barge, and it was very strange. And I was thinking back on something I've been studying recently is I hate to be the guy who's like, oh, I learned this in school, but
you're getting educated.
If you rewind the clock back to 1500 in Germany, the Catholic Church at that time, they had these kind of like relic shows where basically there's this one nobleman there named Frederick the Great, and he had like thousands upon thousands of holy relics, and every certain number of years he would basically just like set up shop in a local church, have a bunch of them available to be viewed, and the idea was that if you could like view these and say a certain number of prayers, you would
be absolved.
You'd basically it is the equivalent of buying an indulgence at the time, that you would get time off purgatory, and but without shelling out money, you would just come and see these things. And they had he worked with print shops at the time to create images of these things, almost like a catalog. And then you could also buy these things that be printed out on parchment. You can hold it up on sticks, and the idea was that the crowd was so wide that you could be really far back and not be able to get like a view of the relic, but you could like hold it up, and then the light bouncing off the relic would like hit the parchment that you had, and so you'd get like a little essence of it that you could carry with you. Okay. It's like, that's the entire idea of like merchandise, and It really is. It's the same
really
idea.
is.
It's
Yeah.
you know, the exclusive pins that they have at the show. Like, I was there, and here's the proof.
Yeah.
And I have a little bit of the Star Wars magic with me.
Yeah.
And these props that you'd spend $135,000 on, it's like, this was the actual lightsaber hilt that was in the filming of the movie. Right. And it's the same idea. It's like, this is the splinter of the cross that was there, and here is the vial of Mary's milk, and it's like crazy stuff that is like in some way tangentially related to the biblical story, but it's like the idea was that you would receive some kind of blessing just from being in the physical presence of it, and if you could take part of it home with you, it's like then you can like carry it on and share it with your community. And it's like that's exactly what we're doing with Star Wars Celebration. And it's like the panels, they felt like church services where it's like you get that like that you know, when you're shooting out of bed and you're like, what? And you're getting this kind of this there's no real other way to describe it, but this touching of the divine. And it's like it's that kind of religious fervor that that used to be a thing, but now like this thing couldn't have happened, you know, 60, 70 years ago, but with the kind of technological state that we're in, and this kind of merging of entertainment with commerce and the secularization of society, it's like there's still that kind of religious need, but societally speaking, we're kind of we've been able to find through these entertainment franchises like Star Wars a way to kind of fill that need through things that perhaps don't have kind of societal or moral demands of us. So I was in a very thinking space throughout the whole convention.
That's so interesting though. Like,
yeah, well, and it's even like cosplay. It's like it's fulfilling like a priestly role where you know, you have these very prescribed looks for the garments that you wear, and they have to be exact, and they have this specific sort of meaning, and in doing so, but in some way you're bringing some kind of blessing to those in your community who may not attain that. And the further you dig, like the creepier and weirder it becomes.
Right. Well, you put it that way, Aaron. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, we have our icons, we have our heroes, we have our hymns.
Right.
It's very strange, but very, very interesting to think about. So I could be totally wrong about this. But that's my main takeaway from the Star Wars Celebration. But which is not to say I didn't enjoy my time there.
I was gonna say, did you have fun?
Yes, I did. It was cool. We got a bunch of Star Wars news. Once again, really excited for Episode 9 and The Mandalorian. But and I was talking with our buddy JD about it. It's like going in, I tried to keep my expectations low for the Episode 9 panel.
Super low, right?
And I'm like, because, you know, I don't want to overhype it and disappoint myself. At the same time, I fully knew the whole engine of commerce that's churning away behind Star Wars. And
it's there.
Disney's got their own corporate interest, blah, 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 et cetera.
Blah, blah, blah.
The whole thing's a marketing machine, et cetera. But
you still jumped out of your seat.
Even still, I got that feeling of awe and excitement, and like everything's different now. And it's like, that's the power of it. That's why I'm using religious terms with it, because it really does override that rational part of your brain that's like, no, the franchise is kind of in a mess right now. It might be awful.
Right.
But yeah. So
it's funny you mentioned that, because you mentioned JD. Hi, JD.
Hi, JD.
He was basically saying the same thing. I don't want to be excited about this, but I am super excited about it. And they got me before, and now they're going to get me again. But that's the power of it. So I did enjoy that.
on the second day I was there Sunday. I was with my brother. He was able to join us on Friday and Sunday. So that was really nice. We had a great time together. Sunday, we mostly stuck to the Final Fantasy games. Fantasy Flight games. I always get them mixed up.
It's okay.
Fantasy Flight games. They make Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, Force and Destiny, Star Wars Legion, Star Wars Armada, all like the tabletop games. That's all Fantasy Flight games, like X-Wing, Forces of Destiny. So, or Star
Aaron,
Wars
you're
Destiny.
such a nerd, dude.
I know. I have so much to talk about.
So wait, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You buy a ticket and then you go to this convention.
Yes.
And you sit with other people you don't know.
Yes.
And you play tabletop games.
Yes.
When
So-
there's all this other stuff going on at the convention.
Yeah, but I'll explain. So,
no, dude, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Better,
Yeah, I think it's
better
great.
than waiting in lines all day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Here's the thing.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Star Wars Legion is like it's like Warhammer 40K. If you've heard of that, it's like
Heather's like what?
so it's like a tactical squad based game where you take turns and
just
you have different
you're
units
gonna
that you
simplify it
move.
and just say you nerded out and learned how to play these games.
We nerd out. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. Here's why
Yeah.
it's worth going to during the celebration, because these figures, they cost like 2 or 3 of them will set you back like $90. You have to build them and paint them, and you need like battle areas that you build, like a diorama that you build. And it's like, that's a lot of investment just to try out a game to see if you like it. But you could do it at Celebration. And then
for free.
For free, yes. So we got a little demo. My brother and I tied during our game. So then later we went to a Edge of the Empire session at one of their tables. And it's much like my RPG game that I run, just a different system. But we got to try it out without buying it. And we had a lot of fun and met some strangers. So
that's all that matters.
Yes.
Nice.
Coming off my soapbox now. That's
stepping down.
That's my major takeaway from Star Wars. It's religion. It's a cult. I don't know how to feel about it. But there we go.
But you play games in it. That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as there's no Kool-Aid, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Right. If you came out of there with like a purple jumpsuit and some like white tennis shoes, I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Like let's leave the mass suicide off the table.
Right. Exactly.
Well, Todd, what was your takeaway from Star Wars Celebration?
It's not as deep as that, but I guess it could be. I think I'm kind of with Carla on this. Like, just the people. That's always been where I feel like Star Wars for me has grown, is just seeing there's all these different entry points. You got a 40-year plus franchise, all these different entry points. Everyone has their thing. If it's tabletop games, if it's merchandising, it's all these different things. But at the end of the day, we all kind of like the same thing. And you could just see and feel the positivity there and just the interaction with everybody. I really enjoyed that immensely. I thought it's just, there's nothing else to say. And like that episode 9 panel, it was euphoric. It was like, dude, this is like, and honestly, it was when Ian was walking on stage, I'm like, that is Ian. I know that's Ian. And then he just stands there, and then all of a sudden he's like, roll it again. And I'm just like, yes.
That was like the cherry on top. It was just perfect.
Yeah, no, because like I was sitting with my friend Bobby, and we both look at each other as soon as the Emperor started laughing. I'm like, they just didn't do that. And then we're just coming off that high, and I'm like, Bobby, that's Ian. I know that's Ian. He's walking out real slow, and I'm like, they put the lights on. I'm like, oh my gosh, just to kind of like validate that was the Emperor, And then he's like, roll it again. It's just like, okay, I'm done. So, but yeah, I really, it was a lot of fun. My family was sick, so I only got to bring Trent, which was kind of sad. So I was really bummed. but they were really sick, so they couldn't come. But I was able to bring Trent, and that was a lot of fun. We had a great day hanging out, even though we almost died trying to get there, but that's okay. But yeah, it was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and obviously get to meet people like Carla, which we've never met until Celebration, which was great. It's kind of cool seeing those kind of connections. So my main takeaway was just like people, it was cool. People watching, interacting with people. Cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Now we're all depressed.
Exactly.
The most depressing thing?
What?
There lacks security that I probably could have gotten away without buying passes. But oh well.
At the arena or
the whole
anywhere.
thing.
Anywhere.
Really?
Literally, you could do Jedi mind tricks anywhere, and
no one's checking badges. Yeah.
So
because we walked in and we got checked every day.
Oh, we didn't.
Huh.
No scanning QR codes, no nothing.
They're just like move along.
Todd, you snuck into the Mandalorian panel.
No, I had a legit pass.
Oh, okay. Okay, miscommunication. I thought you didn't, and you're like, I'll just try. I'll just walk in.
Just walk in.
So you guys all won.
You probably could have.
The lotteries for those?
Yes. Yeah.
Episode 9,
Man,
we did, yeah.
We didn't get anything. We didn't even get merch exclusives. Nothing.
No thing.
Nope.
We were able to get into all 4 panels. I won 3. I won 3 of the panels, and for episode 9, my friend Brian and Bobby got us in. So
because you could
we
group them together.
Yeah, group them together. Well, but that's the thing. They first day, they didn't even scan it. They're just like, oh, that's the QR code for Wintrust. Okay. And 6 of us just walk in. We're just like, thank you,
Yeah.
And then the other thing, they didn't even check like good little Padawans. We split off because we're like, oh, we're in 200 section and Brian's ticket's over here, and so we split off. We could have all sat together. In fact, we probably could have gotten on the floor, but because they didn't check anything, they're just like, wow, yeah. It was a mess.
You don't need to see any identification.
Yeah, oh, you're sitting here? Yes, exactly. So move along. Yeah, and my other experience is that they did scan the QR codes, but then they really didn't do anything. Oh yeah, this is my people. Just come with me,
Yeah.
I was worried about prop security too, the blasters, because they always make a big deal about it, and then I feel like when you get there, they're just kind of okay, go ahead.
Yeah, looks fake.
I have my Ray staff, and that thing's made out of conduit pole, so it's heavy. It's the real deal. So I'm like, oh god, are they gonna let me in with this? Because I could probably hurt someone if I really wanted to with it.
Yeah,
but I walked the first day. I just walked right through. They didn't even pick it up. They were like, oh, yeah, just go ahead. I was like, I almost wanted to be like, do you want to check this, please?
You'd think Chicago, of all places, would be pretty strict about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess not.
Well, okay, so Heather, I'm going to speak for you. So here you go.
Great.
Thursday, we get queued up like rats. We're all queued up, ready to go. And then they release us, but they didn't there wasn't no one monitoring stuff. So people who just came off the street basically rolled into this nerd herd and just went in. And when we got in, there was already 20,000 people on the show floor. I'm like, the show just opened, and how are there 20,000 people already in this vicinity? It's I don't understand this.
Were they VIP holders? Maybe did they get in earlier?
I think so, but they did,
possibly.
But there was no way there was that many VIP holders. And when we walked in, no one checked our badge.
Nope.
Just walked right in, and I'm like, what?
That's how my professor got in. He showed up at 11 on Thursday before they actually opened, and he just kind of wandered in. He found himself on the show floor, and people are still setting up booths and stuff like that. And he's like, "Are you guys open?" He's like, "They're like, no, we don't open till 1." But
You're here.
Yeah, this is the professor who's the Y-wing expert.
Oh yeah, right.
And we all collectively went on a little quest to find any kind of Y-wing, like merchandise, prints, anything like that. Bone dry. No love for the Y-wing at all, which is a real shame.
It's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, I feel like that was probably one of the disappointing things. Was not that like we need like super high security, but it's like anyone could have walked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was even the like the Wintrust stuff. Like people could have walked in. There were still seats. You know, it was just like whatever. But yeah, I think part of it, like you said, Carl, like some people are scared, like, oh, I have all my props, or I don't want to come there all dressed up. They don't care. They're like, whatever, go in there, you know. So.
I've seen tighter security at smaller cons than like these huge ones. Like again, with like my race staff, we had like a small, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, Heroes and Villains Fest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had that this past year, and I had my exhibitor badge, I'm with the Legion walking in, and before I go, the lady's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, what is this thing? What does it mean? She's like drilling me with these questions. And I'm like, ma'am, like it's a prop. Like I'm here with the exhibitor, the Star Wars Legion folks, and they like pulled a manager out, and it was like so ridiculous. And then some like higher up came in, and he looked at her and he was like, does she have an exhibitor pass? She's like, yes. And he's like, just let her in. Like all this fuss.
She got a little big for her britches there.
And then it's just like celebration, just like strolling through, no problem.
Yeah. I wonder if whoever they got contracted with just couldn't handle it.
Well, I mean, again, like we go to C2E2, which is right there at McCormick, and they check badges all the time. And like, even in the props, like I remember same thing. I was like, I came in with my TK, in the tote, and then I went out, and they're like, dude, we got to check that weapon. I'm like, it's a plastic thing, and I had to get it like zip tied and whatever. I'm just like, and here I am in full armor, like going through security again because I had to get my, weapon checked out. I'm like, dude, seriously?
Yeah. I remember Orlando was they were pretty strict. Like they zip tied people's lightsabers and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, Orlando was kind of a hot mess. But
so they zip tied lightsabers, as in there are real lightsabers somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, really? Come on.
Don't be fooled. This is a fake.
Okay. Right, exactly. So, all right, Carla, you great transition. What is this how many celebrations have you been to?
This was my second one.
Okay, so how was the experience different or better or the same with Orlando?
I would just say like the organization of things and the flow of the space was much better. I mean, granted, McCormick is huge. Like I didn't realize how big it was.
Yeah.
I mean, Orlando, it was my first year. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we showed up to the convention center and we waited in that like 3-hour line to get in that first day. So like this time going into Chicago, I was kind of like, I was like, you know what? Like Thursday, since it's just a preview day, like we don't need to rush. Like we can get there like maybe like at like, 12:30, like right before they open the doors. I guess just a little more relaxed this time around, knowing what to expect. I mean, of course, it's always like overwhelming because when you walk in, it's a totally different layout of the space and what they're offering.
Right.
But I would say this time around, I was a little less like worried about I didn't wait in any lines this year. I was like, I did it all in Orlando for autographs and photos. I was like, I'm not doing it this year. It just sucks up so much time. And I just felt like now being a part of the Legion, since I wasn't for Orlando, I wanted to focus on the costume aspect and, the community and getting to meet people and talk to people. So I would say Chicago was a much better experience than Orlando. I mean, Orlando was great, but
bragging rights.
All right, so Heather, this was
Did you
your
at least
first
get pizza
experience.
while you were here?
Oh, that was a good question, Aaron.
Yeah, Carla, did you at least get pizza while you were here?
I did not.
Hot dogs?
I got a hot dog. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brats?
I didn't do pizza though.
Did you go to Portillo's?
No. Where did we go? I don't remember. I feel like we were just so busy between we had the bash on Thursday.
Right.
So that was one night. And then Friday I was down, I was down for the count. It was bad. It was pretty bad. And then Saturday.
Or was it pretty good?
What's that?
I was like, or was it pretty good?
It was, yeah. No, the bash was a lot of fun. We had a good time. But and then Saturday we went out to meet with our the Icelandic outpost guys. So, but they didn't have any pizza at the place that we went to. It was kind of weird.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Well, that's a darn shame.
Yes. All right. Todd, did you ask me a question?
I was just saying, because this was your first celebration, how was your experience overall?
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I don't do unknown very well, so of course I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? How does this work? And which group of people do you follow? What line do you get into? Do people even know they're in a line? That kind of thing. But so it was somewhat overwhelming for me. So super thankful for kind of the chill Thursday, because you kind of got okay, this is where things are at. Okay, I understand. But yeah, it was really good. I mean, in full honesty, while I say that I absolutely loved the episode 9 panel, at one point it got a little over emotional for me, which I was not expecting to be crying, at a trailer. But whatever, it's fine.
We were all crying. Come on. We were all
I know, right? We were together crying as a group. Yeah, I mean, I did things that I didn't think that I would. I've been to C2E2. I understand you walk the floor and you maybe ask a couple people for photos or something like that. But I feel like I really engaged with Celebration more than I thought I would. Going to a panel and not just asking for photos, but asking to be in a photo with somebody, doing a photo op with a celebrity. I always thought, why would you pay money to do that? And now I know why. Yeah, just to feel cool for 30 seconds. It's just what you do. But it was a lot of fun. I think, it kind of, not to go onto my soapbox, but I get it, Aaron.
You're on it.
There is,
you're on it.
Do it.
You're on it.
Do it.
There is this weird, it's like a culture. It's a very, different.
It's
can't have a culture without a cult.
Just saying, just there was this, there was this one little girl. Todd, I think you were with me. If not, it was my friend Deb on Saturday. She could not have been more than 3 years old, dressed up as
the 3-year-old? Yeah.
Okay, it was you, Todd. This little Ray, posing with a Jawa, who we're pretty confident was Anna because she was pretty short. But, oh my gosh, her parents were like, okay, honey, pose. And she got this big smile on her face. And she stuck her hand out like she was using the force. And my heart was just like the Grinch, and it just grew so big. And
3 times too big.
And it was that moment where you're like, no, we're going to be Star Wars is going to be okay. If she's the future, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there you go.
That's
all right, Aaron. That's all you got. All right, Aaron. It was your first celebration as well.
So
what were your takeaways there?
Oh man. It's interesting to watch the Star Wars fandom from a almost clinical perspective about just, and I don't know what to make of it except like, you know, what is going on? I don't know. I'm still thinking very heavily about that, but you know, to have this kind of event where you can sit down with people that you've never met before, but you have this shared love for something, and be able to improvise a story on the spot through the tabletop game, and come away from the experience feeling more whole and fulfilled. That's magic. I don't know how else to put it.
It's the Force.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Shall we go on to news of the week?
Yeah. So, yeah, let's do it. I mean, again, Celebration. If you weren't there, I'm sorry. But if you were there, it was pretty magical. So let's go on to news of the week.
And now, the Star Wars news of the week.
San Diego Channel 10 wants us to know a few things before heading to Disneyland Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So, Celebration wasn't enough. Now we get to go live it. So, in anticipation of the area's unveiling, Disney has offered up some helpful tips about heading to the park for your own galactic adventure. So, here's what y'all need to know. Galaxy's Edge opens to the public on May 31st at the Disneyland Park. Guests can book a reservation into Galaxy's Edge between May 31st and June 23rd, which would be in addition to having a valid admission to the theme park. Let's see, there's some phone numbers for hotel reservations, which are very easily findable on Disney's website, I am sure. And then it looks like there's no standby line for entrance into the area. However, details on how reservations are booked have not yet been released. And I'm guessing that there's reservations for the components within the particular area. There are some height requirements, as always. So before jumping in line for the amazing Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run attraction, make sure that you are at least 38 inches to ride that ride. Woo! Carla's in! However, the height requirement for the upcoming Rise of the Resistance has not been unveiled yet. So just wear really tall shoes that day or something.
Stilts.
Or do like we did with my brother when we went to Disney World and stuff napkins into the heels of your shoe.
There you go.
It worked.
And then you can take them out if you're sweaty later. I don't know.
Yep.
Sorry, that got awkward. So when Galaxy's Edge opens, only one of the rides is going to be operational, and that's Smuggler's Run within the Millennium Falcon. Looks like Rise of the Resistance does not open immediately, but will be scheduled to open later in the year. So, you know, stay tuned. Clearly, you'll just have to go back later.
Right, exactly.
You know, that sort of a thing. So another great way to get your Star Wars fix, though Galaxy's Edge is incoming, Disneyland's classic galactic theme area is not departing. So Star Tours is still going to be there, which is great because I love that ride attraction in Tomorrowland. So guests will be able to be on a guided adventure with C-3PO and find out if you defeat the Empire or not.
Right, exactly.
So, food and merch, because it's all about food, you guys. So Imagineers have been working tirelessly to blend the world of Star Wars into culinary and retail experiences for guests of the planet Batuu. While the food may be oddly named, it is created using down-to-earth ingredients. So while you're freaking out about the Ronto wrap or the fried Andorian tip yip, just know that these are made from things that your kids will indeed eat. So whether it's sausage and pork with some cabbage slaw or just good old fried chicken, and what appears to be a Felucian garden spread.
Yes.
A plant-based dish of hummus and pita bread.
It's amazing.
Please tell me that they have a pulled pork sandwich.
Heather would not eat that.
Disney,
I would
you can
not
have
eat
that
the
one
pulled
for free.
pork sandwich, but
It triggered too.
I don't know. Aaron, you may have another job if this communications thing doesn't work out.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited about those food options.
Right?
Yes.
And that's just like 3. So imagine there's probably a few other items. So, and of course they're going to be served in really fun, funky packaging that you get to take home probably. So,
Right. Absolutely.
Collectible mug.
Oh yes. Merchandise will always play center stage because, like we said, we've got to bring some of it home.
That's right.
So you've got storefronts such as the Droid Depot, which is basically where Heather's heading, or
Right.
the Doc Ondor's Den of Antiquities for unique gifts, collectibles, clothing, only available at Galaxy's Edge. And that's going to help guests discover their own identities. And then
and their deep pockets.
yeah, and their deep pockets. Exactly. How much of a Star Wars fan are you?
You're right. Exactly.
So, guys, what do you think? We've got some better details of what's coming. Are we excited? Are we worried? Do we not have enough money saved?
I think I'm gonna have to save up for a few years.
Yeah.
Before I go.
I'm already thinking Anaheim. I'm gonna stay a couple extra days and go to Galaxy's Edge, man.
You gotta.
Ooh.
You gotta.
I think one dream of ours is to I'm calling it right now, episode 200, live from Galaxy's Edge
in the cantina
over some R2D teenies.
That would be amazing.
We'll make it happen,
dude. Yeah, I mean, just like getting to see some of those sets at Celebration that like the Legion put together, like the one with the Falcon. I didn't get to go in it because like the line was like super huge, but I know Carla, you did. That was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like thinking the same thing with like, now this is Disney putting this stuff on. It's going to be too real,
legit.
like too real. Yeah,
they are the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, speaking of bringing our fandom into our home lives,
yes.
LonelyPlanet.com reports that ahead of a Star Wars festival, an Irish road has been named after one of the Star Wars characters.
Oh, do tell.
I will tell, Todd.
Thank you.
If you're a Star Wars fan and you happen to be traveling through Donegal, which I'm sure I've butchered, keep an eye out for a road that has been named after one of the popular franchise's most famous characters.
Right.
So this road runs through Inishuwen Peninsula near Malinhead. My apologies to anyone in that area if I've butchered that. But it has been named the R2D2 to mark the location where scenes from The Last Jedi were filmed.
Oh my gosh.
This road was renamed the R2D2 in tribute to Star Wars because it was formerly known as R242.
It's just one letter. I mean, it's right there.
I mean, that's not a lot of work to change that. The name change was initially approved on a temporary basis by the local county, but it's now set to become permanent.
That's amazing.
Tourism, I'm sure, is going to become a little bit more popular in that area as part of that rebrand to be a tribute to the Star Wars most famous character with a very simple change. So, I believe this is all going down for like a May 4th festival.
I mean, it just makes sense.
Why would you put it anywhere else? So
Right.
I guess this just begs the question, what streets by where you live need to be renamed?
I mean, if my street by me was called R242, I would have been at the city hall, be like, we got to change this to R2D2.
You would have bought some spray paint.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I went to college, shout out to Olivet, but they had Lois Lane right by the campus, like right by it. And it was called Lois Lane, and it got stolen pretty much every week. And they finally just finally took it down. Just didn't even put it up anymore because people would steal it all the time because it was right there. It was like Lois Lane. I mean, just right there,
Oh man. So just keep thinking big, guys, because we could rename this whole place.
Yeah, I would.
All right. That's all the news we have right now. I'm sure we'll be more.
We got our fill at Celebration.
I was going to say, we've had quite a bit in a very short period of time. So it's good. So that only means one thing. And now it's time for Cantina Chat.
All right.
All right. So, Aaron, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to start alphabetically.
Oh,
all righty.
I'm just changing it up, people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, at the time of this recording, we had our latest Star Wars RPG session last night, and it's been a while since I've updated you all. But basically, our players, they're a bunch of criminal lowlifes, kind of working together on a job, and they got hired to retrieve this something from an Imperial freighter that got knocked out of commission, only to discover that it's a Sith holocron, and which is insanely valuable. And basically, it's been a three-way chase for it between this criminal organization, the Empire, and this chapter of the Church of the Force. The players ended up choosing the Church of the Force and the Temple of the Kyber in Jeddah. They were taken in by the Archpriestess there. There are two priestesses and a priest underneath them, and they're basically like, okay, we'll take care of you. We'll protect you while we figure out this holocron business. And one of the players is cursed by this malevolent presence contained within the holocron, and they're trying to figure out how to cure him. And however, the priest, he turned out to be a plant by the Empire to kind of spy on the temple and figure out what they're doing. And in the middle of the night, the party discovered that he had turned several of the deacons to the dark side, allied with him, and they were conducting some kind of strange ritual on the holocron in the middle of the night. So a huge fight ensued. One of the priestesses died, and but they were able to recover the holocron. And the archpriestess is like, okay, things are getting totally unsafe here. We're gonna book it, get out of Dodge, and figure out what to do after that. But it turns out the Imperials were camped outside, waiting for an excuse to violate the sanctuary laws and raid the temple. And raid it they did. And the players fought valiantly, but unfortunately, the Archpriestess was killed, and the stormtroopers were able to recover the holocron. So,
wait, the stormtroopers did something?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Well, this whole fight did not go the way I thought it would.
Okay.
Because one of the stormtroopers scored a critical hit, which means
that's impossible.
Which means double damage. And that was pretty key in taking her out. So they recovered the holocron. The players were able to escape, and they're now actually teaming up with a villain of theirs, who is a former player who he can't be part of the group anymore. Not because he did anything wrong, or it's JD, but scheduling reasons.
JD.
He's not part of the group anymore, but his character lives on, and now
he's immortal.
Because things went the way they did, we're re-steering the story, and they're having an unlikely team up to try to recover this holocron once again. But there might be they are a bunch of criminals teaming up with another criminal, and there might be some backstabbing and traitorous things. So,
oh my goodness,
I can't say too much because one of the players listens to the podcast. So, but I've got lots of ideas of where it could go. So,
awesome.
Tune in next week.
All right, we will. We have to.
Yeah.
All right, Carla, how's it been going? After Celebration, anything new and geeky?
Well, I gotta start diving back into the costumes eventually, but I feel like I need a little bit of a break. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm off for spring break this week. You know, the schools are off and everything. But Mike and I have been doing some wedding planning. We finally got our venue booked, so that's one thing out of the way. We met with a photographer today, and
nice.
They were actually big Star Wars fans, so we told them, you know, we were gonna have it be part of the wedding, and you know, it's gonna be themed and everything. So they were super, super excited.
So, how much Star Wars is gonna be in your wedding?
Well, that was one thing like we were talking about, because I mean, it's how we met. So there was never like a question of whether it was going to be or not going to be. It was just, yeah, no, we're doing this. But I kind of want to sprinkle it in, still have, you know, the traditional aspects of it.
Right.
But, you know, we're thinking doing, you know, maybe having some of our friends from the Legion come and stormtroopers. We'll probably bring R2 in again because he was there for the proposal. So he's got to come back.
Right. Right.
And then just doing things like instead of table numbers, you know, you do planet names, stuff like that. So just, you know, kind of sprinkling it in here and there. But I don't want it to be too much because then it's kind of like tacky, you know. I don't know. Like,
you
gotta find the right balance.
You don't want a kitschy wedding.
Yeah. And my dad is not. He's not a Star Wars person, like at all.
So you're Trekkie.
So
yeah,
he's just not.
Stick him on Dagobah. Just stick him on Dagobah.
Oh no.
He's just not into like sci-fi. Like that's not his thing.
Yeah.
He's very
That's not his thing.
Traditional, old school Italian.
Right.
So
yeah.
We're talking about all the stars. He's like, "What? This is your wedding day? What do you mean, Star Wars? You do that? You do that every day." Like, so, yeah. I actually was kind of like busting his chops a little bit. I was like, "Dad, you know you have to walk me down the aisle as Darth Vader, right?" And he looked at me and he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, you have to put the whole costume on, everything." And he's like, "This is a joke, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm serious." I played along with it for so long. And I was like, "Dad, I'm kidding. Relax. It's fine. You don't have to do that." But he was so serious about it.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's amazing.
So,
oh no.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what we've been doing as of late.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
All right, Heather.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I mean, probably like the rest of us, kind of recouping from, you know, Celebration and getting sleep and being adult again, going back to work and such. So, but I totally came home and watched The Phantom Menace because I was just like, oh man, Padme costumes, let's just do it. And so, I did that, and
you're doing research.
Yeah. But right now I've got a good friend in for the weekend because as of this recording, which is Saturday the 20th, tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh snap!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
So yeah, so that's sort of the big thing. Happy Life Day. So that's kind of where most of it's been. It's just sort of prepping for this weekend. So yeah, nothing terribly geeky, and then of course I started watching some Firefly because I met Alan Tudyk, and so you know, there's that.
Awesome.
There's that. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Todd.
Yes, Heather. Started reading Master and Apprentice from Claudia Gray, and it's amazing. So freaking good. It's talk about prophecies, and I love Qui-Gon Jinn even more, and Obi-Wan, and I'm in love with this book. You have to read this book. It's amazing.
I just got mine in the mail, so I'm very excited. I'm glad to hear that you like it. So
yeah, no, it's talk about prophecies, and I'm just in love with this so much. It's so good. And I'm like halfway through already, and I can't get enough, and like so good. So so started that. I started a new job, which is fantastic.
Yay!
So yay! So that celebration ended, had like a day to recoup, and then started on Wednesday. So it's been fun. So doing that. So a lot of change going on, but it's all good change. And I'm still I'm getting into celebration depression. So I'm looking forward to very much May the 4th. So got that circled on my calendar for another little, troop or something. So
excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think we did it.
We did it.
So
we survived celebration.
Yep.
And we made it. And yeah. Can't wait for another one, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, then I'm going to wrap this puppy up with a bow.
Wrap it.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. As always, check us out on our social media. We are WSTR Media, all lowercase, all one word. You can comment, you can tweet us, you can rate us on iTunes, or you can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Tell us how
That's
we're
how
doing.
Carla did it. Carla did that.
It's
and
true.
She's seriously on the show twice.
We're like besties. Yeah. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR, which is 630-557-9787. And if you leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on an upcoming podcast, like the one we received from Darth Waz. So, Aaron, why don't you play that?
Roll it again.
Run it again. I can't even do it. I wish I could be that.
It broke. All right, roll it.
Hello, Star Wars fans. This is Darth Waz calling in with an idea for the show. You guys do an episode or two on the Ewok made-for-TV movies in the 80s. They're super corny, super horrible, but they are super great at the same time. And they are Star Wars. So just throwing it out there and see what you guys think. Maybe you guys at least discuss it a little bit on an episode. But anyways, may the Force be with you. Over and out.
Thanks for that. So I think we're going to get that slotted for maybe like episode 150.
Yes, because we have to watch the Ewok TV movies. It's also a rite of passage, very much like the holiday special. Yes. So it's going to be episode 150 because it's seriously the 35th anniversary of the Ewok movies on TV.
Done.
Carla, have you seen those?
I know of them, but I've never actually watched them. But now I feel like I need to.
They're a tasty treat.
I just have you come along for the ride.
So, all right. So our K fans that are listening, get them watched so that you're ready for when we talk about them.
Yeah, I think there's two like TV specials, and they kind of combined it into one little thing. But yeah, they're a special treat. Special treat.
Yay! Oh man. Well, check us out at podcast.wstrmedia.com to see our whole back catalog of episodes. Don't forget we have merch. Store.wstrmedia.com. We've got the new logo out there on a variety of things to cover you from head to toe.
That's great.
So, right, it's so fun.
I got my shirt
Shout
just
out.
in time for celebration. So,
Oh,
that's awesome.
Perfect.
So, Yeah, so be like Carla and get yourself a t-shirt.
Yeah.
All right. So before we officially wrap this up, Carla, remind us again where we can find you on the socials so we can keep checking you out in your awesome cosplay.
Sure. I am on Instagram and it's at Carla Marie GIAC. Again, at Carla Marie GIAC. I don't have, well, actually, no, I just started a Twitter. I didn't have one, but I just got a Twitter. So I'm dabbling in the Twitter, the spicy Twitter world.
The Twitter.
I gotta see those spicy tweets. So yeah, give me a follow. I love seeing other costumers and cosplayers out there, other Star Wars fans. So yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Very cool. So, oh my goodness. Next week, we are already on episode 120.
That's right.
We're like in the next bucket. Oh, you guys, we are breaking down the episode 9 trailer, Rise of the Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a lot of deep breathing.
Tune in.
It's going to be
now.
okay. And it looks like we're being joined by our good friends at Kessel Run Weekly.
Hey.
So we're gonna have lots to talk about. Because,
We're gonna go theories deep, man. We're gonna go really deep with all the crazy theories out there. I mean, it's just you got to.
Buy your tinfoil now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Get the tinfoil hats out because I think Reylo's full on. I think there's gonna be a lot of crazy things happening.
I don't even know. Okay, I'm all verklempt. All right. Well, that's it. That's all we have. So if you guys are ready, I think we're ready to finish this out.
All right. Now this is podcasting.
Yay!
We're just going to clean up all this confetti. The celebration is over.
The celebration's over.